having examples to bounce off of and conductors to bounce off of, you can create stories about anything. You know what I mean? You can just use whatever's around you and it helps. It works. I was listening to Miss Tanya today on YouTube, and she was talking about when you come full circle with a lesson. Like when God picks you up away from the crowd, and when God picks you up, He makes sure He pulls you from a place where He pulls everybody's attention towards you. You can't help it. It's how He exists. His omnipresence within existence itself. He is existence to all space. So when He pulls one thing, He pulls the essence of that one thing within all of space. And that one attention pulls all attentions to it. No matter what you're doing, no matter what you think you're doing, when God pulls you from what His perception of existence is, it pulls all attentions at once. So I think when I learned my lesson, in the manner I learned my lesson, it pulled everything to attention at once. Everything I pulled in a way where everybody it almost stopped everyone from what they're doing, and in a way they all looked like, who did that just happen to? That happened to somebody. Who did that just happen to? And when you come full circle in your lessons, you're looking for the thing about materiality, things of the spirit, when you have receipts on what you've been through, and you come full circle and you pay off the debt from that receipt, and there's a completion there, people expect some type of trophy or some type of existential materiality, when the lesson itself is just it's a freaking paper receipt, and its fragileness. Its fragileness is insane. You can go through something that takes you 20 years to get over, and you finally get that receipt, and you're just looking at it like it's just a freaking piece of paper. But you're not physically holding it in your hand, but the effect, you're expecting the receipt to feel like all the pain to match all the pain you went through for 20 years in disciplining yourself to get over the lesson. Everything you went through when you denied yourself, when you say, okay, I'm not going to do this, and I'm going to do everything I can to not do this ever again. You may have went through endless pain for 20 years, and then the receipt doesn't match the pain you went through. The thing about doing something full circle, it's a defense mechanism. Anything you do involving orbit building or using the planet for anything when you're trying to go against something, this is a defense build. This is not for you to feel something about it. This is not for you to this is not going to reward your muscles at the end of the day. It's like building a wall. After you've built the wall isn't going to come in your house and then build you. That's not how it works. It's not going to reflect the work you put into it. It's just going to prevent certain things from getting over, and it's also preventing you from climbing over it. That's what it's there for. And it's not going to work when you smile at it. It's not going to work when you think about it. That's not what you built it for. When you think about, oh my God, I'm so over it, that's not what you built the wall for. It's never going to gratify you. It's not going to be there to gratify you. Whenever you go outside and you spray your perfume on a wall, you're not going to be out in public and smelling like a wall of perfume. That's not how it works. How it works is when you walk by a pack of cigarettes or you walk by somebody who's smoking cigarettes, that's when the wall works. All of a sudden you get a twitch in your spirit and you concentrate more on what you're doing. You may be scratching a lottery ticket. You may be thinking about going to movies later. That's what the wall does, and that's all it does. And it took you 20 years of work for it just to do that. And every time you're around cigarette smoke, the wall does what the wall's supposed to do. It's going to keep you from smoking cigarettes, and it can't do anything else. It's never going to stick up for you when you're out with your friends. The wall isn't going to show up and say, I'm the wall, and I'm going to protect you from the world. Nah. You're just as vulnerable as if you didn't spend the last 20 years of your life fighting to beat this addiction or abuse. It's never going to be there for that. It's just going to show up when you walk by whatever it is that had you in submission for so long. Like the same thing for me. I've done so much shit in my life to get my sexuality under control, to get my promiscuity, so I have my foot on its neck. I got my foot on its neck and I'm killing it in front of live television. That reverse, you know what I mean? It's that I did all of this and the thing doesn't protect me from anything. That celibacy is never there if I have to have a rap battle. That celibacy ain't showing up to protect me. If I'm in the street and I run into a gang or whatever and they try to rob me, it's not going to show up. It only shows up in situations where that addiction or that malfunction tries to show its face. And it keeps me in my subconscious and it keeps me from acknowledging it. That's all it's there for. And when you wind yourself back to openness is the same thing. Being open and being creative, it only protects you, or it only projects itself in areas where it can keep you in your subconscious with it. It's never going to show up and be your fight. If my openness is not going to pop up when I'm in a grocery store shopping for food. It's going to show up everywhere where my promiscuity and my recklessness showed its face. It shows up there. When I show up at the grocery store, my promiscuity shows up or my wall shows up in Norwalk. And it starts fighting battles from 20 years ago in the places where I was. When I pop up at Costco's, my wall isn't at Costco. It doesn't pop up at Costco's. It pops up in Virginia. And all of a sudden, I'm waking up in places adjacent my spirit. Because that's where my wall goes when I show my face. It doesn't show my face when I'm in safe mode. When I'm in safe mode, it goes to my dangerous places and it shows its face there. And then when I'm back home, it comes home. But until I leave my place of safety and try to take my safety to a place where I may have been promiscuous, it never works. Because when I show up in if I physically show up there, my wall doesn't have to do anything because I'm there. My reputation is not going to I'm not going to be there double. I'm not going to be there in excess of myself. And that's a lot of people that's how they feel about life in general. Why don't you just do what you want to do and just die? It's like that's when you're in your now, there's certain things you want to feel restrictions about. I want to feel like I'm stifling in certain areas because that's how I know I'm alive. That's how I know I'm alive. If I'm walking around being so last days ago so easy and so beat down and so carefree about everything, what existence do I have? Where's my steep? Where's my steeple? I need a steeple about certain things. I need to show up and be a little uncomfortable. I need to make you a little bit uncomfortable when I come around because that's the God honest truth because that's what I've been through. Being open does that to you. And having such openness for people to come in and out, you make other places in your life very steep. You make walls. You create walls within that block out anything that'll jeopardize that openness. I can be open with you right now about everything I've learned, about everything I know in my life. But you want any time you try to endanger that openness or punk it or anything like that, the other places jump. All my walls, it's like a defense reaction. They all jump out and they run to the places where I was in the most danger and they stand there and they wait for something to happen. But my defense doesn't know that I'm not 200 miles away or I'm not 2 cities away. It doesn't know I'm not there. It just runs there because that's where the fear hit me the most. It'll run back to my inner lane. It'll stand there waiting for me to show up. I'm like, I'm not even going to be there. It just thinks it's there because somebody is trying to jeopardize the openness that it created for me to release my energy and to be creative and things like that. That's what you learn. That's what the paper receipt is. The receipt is not. It has nothing to do with you being flashy. It just pops up and it runs there. I think that's how the body works. It just assumes that's where it is. It just goes there. And then you have people showing up. You got clout here, you got clout there. It's like I had no idea Norwalk knew this, or they kept reacting this way or that way. It's only because someone jeopardized my openness, and then my defense runs to the area where the trouble was, and it stays there like Superman for 3 days. I'm like, I thank you for doing it, but I wasn't going there today. You just ran there because somebody was talking crap about the book I wrote. And then I come back, oh, that's what that was about. And then I come back to myself and I crawl in bed and I go to sleep. But when I listen to artists like Joni Mitchell, especially in those first listens, it doesn't threaten my openness. So I actually get to relax. And it's like where you go overseas and you perform for the troops. It's so refreshing to see them not on their defense. When they're just youth, when they're just young men and women, and they're just in their hearts about what they believe, and they're willing to die for it. And then you see them, you make them laugh, you make them smile and dance, and life becomes that much pure. It's almost like it's in its purest sense. That's how I feel. When certain people are just that natural, and they're that artist up front, they dedicate so much of their life into their craft that it never challenges you, and your openness isn't threatened. And a lot of things, that my mom is that way too. There's a lot of, we can argue like dogs for like hours. And then we could put a song on, and both our openness is open, and we're not even a threat to each other. Now that we have biases, but there's never a threat where her openness is threatened by me or my openness is threatened by her. It's never that way. And it never will be. Me. Me. I have got to find that. Oh. I had a good day today. I had, I'm sorry. I've been going through some stuff today. Whew. God, I'm trying to like breathe slowly because I'm kind of, like all over the place. Yeah, so, I had spaghetti today. I put some Parmesan cheese on it and everything else. It's pretty good. I cannot complain about it. Can't complain at all. Oh my goodness. Take a deep breath. I mean, I have a whole bunch of other stuff to talk about, but sometimes I get so carried away. I be jumping to new subjects and not finishing the first one. Then I come full circle and it's like, oh, but you kind of just confused me for like 5 minutes. I know how that feels. But, yeah, I mean, I'm glad you're listening. Please, you know what I want to say? Please like these podcasts, even if you only listen for 5 minutes and you go on to something else or download it. Please just click the like or leave a comment. I have 3 likes out of 3 months worth of work, and all 3 of them came from me. That's a shame. Just do something so I know you exist, that you're not just a ghost thieving in the night so you can present my work as yours to somebody else. Please just leave a like. Be human for once and just leave. Please just, I don't mean to insult you, but I get frustrated. I can't get any feedback about this at all. It drives me crazy. But anyway, thank you for listening. See you when I see you. Talk to you later. Me, 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 me. Me, 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 me. Me, 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 me. Me, 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 me. Me, 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 me. Me, 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 me. Me, 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 me. I could plan a podcast. That is not going to happen. I do not have the mindset to sit here. Chop up block to block how I'm going to tell you about weight loss and weight gain. Put on your favorite butt cheeks, put them on. These are my favorite. My favorite butt cheeks. And I'm gonna put 'em on. Put on your favorite butt